Please like my videos, please subscribe to my channel, and please press the bell icon so that you get to know when my latest video has come. And to learn more and to find a video relevant to you, please do check out my videos list.
Hello, Namaskar and Adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan, once more with you from your very own channel Astro. Today we'll talk about what are imbalanced planets in your horoscope and how imbalanced planets tend to give you different manifestations, different results, different effects. Now firstly, what is an imbalanced planet and how do I identify an imbalanced planet? A planet which tends to give you results which are completely contrary to what its characteristic is, what its attitude is, what its manifestation is, what its effects is a imbalanced planet. Here we are not talking about a debilitated planet. A debilitated planet, we know, generally will give you the results which are opposite results or weaker results of the same manifestation of the planet what it represents. And for example, a debilitated Mercury will tend to lose its analytical side but tend to get the more creative side, more innovative side, whereas an imbalanced Mercury will tend to give you neither of these results. So here we are not talking about a debilitated planet, we are talking about an imbalanced planet. Secondly, we are not even talking about a retrograde planet. What does a retrograde planet do? Retrograde planet is like a catapult which you need to pull back the strings or the bow and arrow, where you have to pull the string of the bow back and then release and the arrow goes. So with a retrograde planet, generally it may be 2 steps backwards and then 1 step forward. So retrograde planet will tend to not give you the results when you expect it, but you will give you the results when you least expect them. And hence we are not even talking about a retrograde planet. So don't confuse a imbalanced planet or an imbalanced planet with a debilitated planet that we are talking about, or a combusted planet that we are talking about, or a retrograde planet we are talking about. An imbalanced planet is a planet which tends to give you results completely contrary to what the planet stands for and what its manifestations are and what its characteristics are, as we said earlier. So what generally does the imbalanced planet do? An imbalanced planet, for example, if the sun is an imbalanced planet, then what does the sun stand for? The sun stands for responsibility, for accountability, for dignity, for prestige, standing up for one's prestige, standing up for one's self-respect, wanting to be the leader, showcasing your leadership skills, showcasing the accountability, and putting your best foot forward and taking accountability, taking leadership, even when you may not be in a leadership role, and standing up for self's dignity and not budging and not willing to compromise on your self-respect. But what happens when the planet is an imbalanced planet, which means sun is an imbalanced planet in your horoscope? Then here you tend to fight for somebody else. So sun starts to act like Mars and fights for dignity for somebody else, fights for somebody else's respect or self-respect. So for example, if you are in the leadership position but you are not fighting for your own self-respect, own dignity, own prestige, own position in the company, but for the team or for a team member, so you tend to stand up for others more than to stand up for yourself. And this is a complete surprise. You don't know how to stand up for yourself. So you don't fight for yourself, you take even bad treatment from somebody else, and even when people throw crap at you or treat you crappy, yet you generally tend to keep quiet and don't fight for yourself, don't stand up for yourself, but you stand up for somebody else. You may stand up for a spouse, you may stand up for a friend, you may stand up for a parents, you may stand up for your colleagues, you may stand up for your company, you may stand up for a goal, but you generally don't stand up for yourself. And if you stand up for somebody, if you fight for somebody, it will be others rather than yourself. So if you generally find yourself fighting for, standing up for somebody else, not standing up for yourself, you could be having an imbalanced sun. And that's how you identify an imbalanced planet, when the planet gives completely contrary to the results for yourself but makes you stand up completely in the manifestation of the planet but for others. What happens with an imbalanced moon? With an imbalanced moon, you are not able to show the emotions for self. So generally, what does a moon give in terms of emotionality? If you are angry, you will show your anger. If you are very sad, you will be. If you are sad, you may sob, you may cry, you may scowl, you may sulk, and you may do that because you are feeling bad how people treated you or what people told you. But with an imbalanced moon, generally you are not able to show emotions when you are at the receiving end. If something happens to somebody else, you may cry for them, you may feel sorrow for them, you may run for them, but generally you may tend to find mistakes in yourself when you have been at the receiving end. Somebody treats you bad, there you start to justify their behavior rather than feeling bad and wanting to cry and scream and shout and going into a rage. You tend to sit back and start thinking more like a Jupiter, like the wise person. Why did this person say this to me? What did I do wrong? Where did I go wrong? I may have deserved it because of which the person said those words to me. So you justify other people's wrong behavior rather than feeling angry, rather than feeling sad about it, rather than wanting to cry, rather than wanting to fight. You tend to justify or try to act more like a Jupiter, and you are not able to show the nourishment and the support for yourself, but you stand up for others. You will try to help others, you will try to support others, you will try to mother others, but you will never do it for yourself. That is the sign of an imbalanced moon in your horoscope. If you have an imbalanced Mercury in your horoscope, then all your analytical ability, all your logical reasoning, all your cleverness is all for others. You will tell others what to do, what not to do, which choices to make, where to invest their money in, and most of your decisions that you have told or your advices to others will be fantastic. The choices that people take based on what your analysis is, your logical reasoning is, will tend to give them good results all the time. But you yourself tend to make mistakes whenever you make choices. So you seem to be at the receiving end of your own choices and your own analytical ability, your own ability to take decisions, right decisions, logical decisions, thought through decisions, educated decisions seem to go completely against you, and then you are left scratching your head, why did this happen to me? Whereas everybody else who I help in analysis or help them make choices, give them logical reasons why they should do X or not Y, they all go right for others, but they don't go right for yourself. And that is the sign of an imbalanced Mercury. What is the sign of an imbalanced Venus? An imbalanced Venus will help you get a lot of good things or the goodies in life, but generally you are the one who is not enjoying them. So you may buy a fantastic house, beautiful house, large house, but you don't tend to stay in it. Your parents are staying in it, or your family is staying in it, your friends, siblings are staying in it, or you have given it on rent to somebody else. You are not able to enjoy the house, either because you are not staying in the house, or even if you are staying, you go leave early in the morning, you come late in the night, and you are so tired you don't tend to enjoy the house, you don't tend to enjoy the expanse of the house, the beauty of the house, the comforts of the house. You are all the time running outside as if almost like you are homeless, and you come back to sleep. And the money that you earn, a lot of money that you earn, most of the gizmos, most of the comforts of life are enjoyed by others. You have a beautiful big car, but your family seems to be enjoying the car more than you. You seem to be the one who either has a not such a good car, or a lousy car, or a car which breaks down all the time, or you tend to take a public transport to work, or you take a cool car to work, and generally you don't seem to be enjoying the comforts. You buy good gizmos for others, the best of phones, the works for others, but you don't tend to buy good things for yourself, and you tend to get lousy gifts or not so good gifts. So that is the sign of an imbalanced Venus, where the good side of life, the good things in life, you don't tend to find that you are getting those. If you order food, you will find that something that you have ordered which you think may be good, and you find somebody else's order, maybe in your own group, tending to be more delicious, looking to be more awesome, and tasting awesome. And so with the imbalanced Venus, you are the receiving end, where you don't seem to be enjoying the good side of life. That also happens with relationships, where you seem to be the one who is loving others, caring for others, wanting intimacy also, but you don't get enough intimacy, you don't get enough romance, you don't get the strength in relationship, you don't get the support in relationship, and many of the times when you need those relationships to stand by you, they don't tend to be standing by yourself, and you seem to feel more lonely. If you're more lonely in your heart, you don't seem to be enjoying the best things in life, the best quality of things in life. You're doing more for others. You are probably at the receiving end of an imbalanced Venus. If you have an imbalanced Jupiter, then you tend to take all the wise decisions for others, but tend to not take wise decisions for yourself. For example, if a relationship is not turning out to be right, then what does the wise man do? The wise man sits down with the partner and tries to either sort it out or says, okay, we don't seem to be in spite of trying multiple times, we don't seem to be able to work this out, so let's separate our ways, let's do it amicably, let's remain friends, and let's do it with dignity. But with the wise Jupiter, what happens? You may be at the receiving end of the relationship, yet the wise thing to do is to let go of the relationship. But you think the wiser thing is to take in more and do more and to contribute more, because you think you may be able to turn around the situation. So you tend to give little more and little more and little more, assuming that to be a wise thing, but you tend to give so much rope that it becomes an obligation, it becomes a right for others. They feel that they are entitled to all the good behavior without taking into account that you are the good person, you are the one who is doing good things for others, and so you become at the receiving end of your own wisdom, where you are wise for others and you tend to become too good for others because you are trying to be wise in a relationship, but your wisdom helps others rather than yourself. The enlightenment that comes to you comes very late in life, that I did everything for others but I didn't get anything. I made right choices for others, I made wise choices for others, I made the dignified choices for others, but I was the one who did not make the right choice. I did not get out of the relationship at the right time, I did not get out of the role in the right time, I did not get out of the friendship at the right time, I did not get out of the company or from a bad boss at the right time. I took too much for too long a time, and I have become at the receiving end. So there is a great sense of loss very late in life when you have an imbalanced Jupiter, which Jupiter doesn't seem to give you the wisdom to stand up for yourself and to make the right choices for yourself, to make the wise choices for yourself, but help others to do that. So the enlightenment comes too late, the learning comes too late for you with Jupiter. With the prosperity, the abundance that comes to you, all comes for others rather than for yourself. With an imbalanced Saturn here, what does Saturn stand for? Saturn stands for structure, for discipline, for organization, for commitment, and standing up for what you believe in and standing up for the rules and regulations. With an imbalanced Saturn, you will find that in spite of being very disciplined, but you still, in spite of your discipline, you don't seem to be getting the right reactions. For example, you are very disciplined, you are very organized, so you reach the bus stop on time, but you are always on time, but the bus or the train never comes on time. One day you get late, the bus doesn't come, the bus comes on time that day and leaves without you, and then you feel scratching your head, the one day that I was late, I missed my bus because the bus came on time that day. So if you are at the receiving end where you are doing everything organized, you are doing everything structured, yet you are not giving the results, you are very committed in the relationship, but the commitment that you think, you assume that you will also get from the others of the opposite partner or your partner, because you are committed, you don't seem to be getting that. You remember birthdays diligently, you write them down, and you wish people on their birthdays, you give them gifts, because that's a part of life, that is the discipline, that is a commitment to a relationship. But you seem to be at the receiving end where others seem to forget your birthdays, they don't wish you on time, or they don't wish you at all, and you don't seem to be getting that committed relationship. You seem to be at the receiving end in the relationship also, or at work. You are very committed to your work, you are very disciplined in your work, and you are the one who's dedicated, you give your reports on time, you do your work on time, you reach meetings on time, you are always prepared, but you are the one who doesn't seem to be getting the appreciation, you don't seem to be getting the recognition, you don't be getting the right role, you don't seem to be getting the promotions, you don't even seem to be getting the credit, you don't even seem to be getting the gratitude from your team members, from your bosses. So if you are at the receiving end of a Saturn, in spite of being most disciplined, most committed, most diligent, most rule observant, yet you seem to be at the receiving end of not getting the effects that you should get out of being committed, disciplined, and following rules and regulations, and you don't seem to be getting the results, even late. With Saturn, sometimes we feel that after doing all of this, you may get somewhere, you get the results, but you just don't seem to be getting the results. You're struggling. Some of the people with the imbalanced Saturn will have to fight a lot for their promotion. Sometimes they are never promoted in all their life, never accredited, never appreciated. So if you are the receiving end of imbalanced Saturn, you will never get the results of being committed, being diligent, being structured, being disciplined. With Rahu and Ketu, these planets are completely imbalanced planets by themselves. They will never give you the results, desired results, in any way, in any form. especially since the planet of negation, and Rahu is the planet of giving you the hunger and giving you the passion. However, with an imbalanced Rahu, you will find that your complete hunger and passion is in one area, completely neglecting the other. So if you are either chasing materialistic pursuits, you will be so much chasing materialistic pursuits, you just don't care for relationship, and you tend to suffer on the relationship front, or you tend to chase relationship all your life and you tend to suffer on the material front, because you just don't get the money you deserve, you don't get the wealth you deserve, you don't get the good results. Nothing from a material perspective seems to be coming to you, whereas you are completely focused on your relationships. You want to do the right thing, your focus is there, and you are blindsided to the material aspects, and that becomes also the results many times that you tend to lose in life because of the imbalanced Rahu. With the imbalanced Ketu, one side of life you may get a lot. Ketu will give you a lot of things in one area of life. Either it will give you a lot of money and will completely take away health from you, or will give you good health but will completely take away love and affection from you and the relationship from you. One side of life Ketu will completely negate. It is not one side will give you less and one side will give you more. No, Ketu is not like that. One side you will get a lot, other side is completely absorbed when Ketu is imbalanced. Now, why are planets imbalanced and how do you identify them? One way that planets can be seen, which planet is imbalanced, is when in spite of the dasha and antardasha of a planet or the transit of the planet, you just don't seem to be getting any characteristic of the planet at all. And as I gave the indication for the sun, never being able to stand up for yourself, never being able to fight for self, or standing up for self dignity, come what may, you don't seem to be getting it, and you seem to be doing very rarely and not getting the results of that particular planet, even in its dasha and antardasha and its transit, then you could be at the receiving end of a imbalanced planet. The other thing is, imbalanced planets tend to be imbalanced because they carry a lot of karmic baggage. They tend to carry a lot of karmic debt. There is a lot of karmic debt you need to pay before they manifest themselves. So if you are at the receiving end of an imbalanced planet, you will have to do a lot more in contributing in the manner of, in the relationship connected to the planet, or in the manner of the planet, or in the characteristic of the planet, before you tend to shed all the karmic baggage and then tend to start to get results. Sometimes the shedding goes on all your life, yet you don't get results because it's a very karmic baggage, lot of karmic baggage you're carrying, and from ages that you're carrying. So then this life becomes all about payback about the planet and not manifesting any results of the planet. The way you identify the planet, apart from seeing that none of the results, none of the characteristics are matching or coming to the fore, is also when you find that there are 2 or 3 contrary things getting connected to that planet. For example, planet is seen connected very strongly to a Rahu or a Ketu or a Saturn, because these are the 3 planets whose none of their nakshatras are a moksha nakshatra. Same thing with Jupiter. Jupiter also doesn't rule any moksha nakshatra. However, Jupiter still will help a planet. If Jupiter is placed in conjunction with a planet, even with an imbalanced planet, it will tend to give some manifestation of the planet. But if the planet is connected in some way strongly with a Rahu or a Ketu or a Saturn, either under conjunction or placed in the sign of the planet or under the aspect of the planet, then definitely there is a karmic debt. Plus, apart from a Rahu or Ketu or Saturn connection, there will be one more malefic, which will be inimical malefic, which will also be associated with the planet, either through conjunction, placed in its sign, or under that particular planet's aspect also. And lastly, there will also be at least one malefic involved there, because of which the confusion also comes in. So there are at least 2 strong malefics involved in the manifestation of the planet, and at least one malefic strongly involved, and that's where the confusion being pulled apart in both the directions, and the very strong karmic debts that you are carrying. Because of this, there is complete confusion in the planet, and the planet is just not able to manifest in its characteristics, in its effects, in its results at all, sometimes throughout your life. So if you are at the receiving end of any imbalanced planet, this is the result that we just talked about for an imbalanced planet, then look deeply into your horoscope, look deeply where the planet is getting connected, and try and shed more karmic baggage there, which means treating the relationship, whichever the imbalanced planet is. If it's Sun, treating your father well, apologizing to your father, being more dignified with your father, serving your father more, and carrying on the legacy of the father or of the family, holding the values or the principles of your father dear to you, and trying to carry out wishes of your father more than somebody else. So then you will find that over a period of time, to some extent at least, you will find yourself standing up for yourself, standing up for your prestige, standing up for your dignity, and doing more for yourself, taking more responsibility for self's goodness, for self's prosperity, self goodness also, rather than for somebody else. So friends, look into your own horoscope, identify the imbalanced planet and manifest the planet better, shed the karmic baggage, and then slowly you will find you will tend to get better results even of the most imbalanced of planets in your horoscope, rather than completely giving up that you will ever get any good results from that particular planet. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you are looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me at the link given below. And till some other time with some other video, this is your friend astrologer and guide signing off. Ciao.